Hello, it's Simon Gray from Career Codex, back with a weekly video, and this week I'm discussing LinkedIn again. And LinkedIn, of course, recently changed its desktop interface. This has caused quite a bit of confusion for people. Things look slightly different. Generally, the functionality is there. A few things have been taken away, but navigating the new interface has proved somewhat of a challenge for me personally. I'm now up to speed with it, but also with a lot of people that I advise in the executive job market. So what I wanted to do today is just get this quick video out where I'm going to talk about some of the privacy settings. And of course, if you are active in the executive job market, then you need to use LinkedIn as part of your proactive engagement with prospective employers and professional recruiters, executive recruiters. So you need to be active on the platform, and I talk about two ways to position your LinkedIn profile to have an impactful shop window, which essentially is your profile up here. This is having a focused message to a very targeted audience, and then using the platform proactively. This is things like engaging directly with employers, LinkedIn groups, communicating thought leadership pieces through published posts, and a whole host of other stuff. But I was running one of my Executive Edge online group coaching calls last night, and I got asked a question which I'm going to answer now. And the question was, if you're in a permanent position but are now gearing up your LinkedIn profile as part of your strategy to find a new job, how do you stop this coming to the attention of your current employer? Now, this is a common problem. It's a problem I get asked quite a lot. So today on this video, I'm going to share 4 tips and 4 things that you need to do or need to think about doing to maintain your proactivity and visibility, but also reduce the risk that your current employer could find out your intention or perceive you have an intention to find a new position. Now, first thing to talk about is recent activity. So if you look here, you can see that on my profile on the left-hand side, I have published posts. These are long-form articles that I've written. I also have all of the activity that I am communicating. So these are things like status updates, sharing photographs, sharing articles, that kind of stuff. I commented on somebody's article this morning, so that shows up here. If I click here, see all activity, what you'll see is there are articles here. These are my published posts. There are posts. This is stuff that I've shared through the platform. And then in all activity, what you'll find is that there's a whole host of stuff down here. I have shared articles. I've liked particular posts this morning. I've even commented on a post this morning, and that stuff shows up in all activity. Now, an important thing to say here is that you can't hide on the platform, despite what I'm about to tell you in terms of these 4 tips. You can't hide your likes, shares, and comments on LinkedIn. They will show up here in all activity. So you have to be very careful on the platform and think about what you're liking, commenting on, and sharing. And if that gives a clue as to the fact that you might be active in the executive job market and your employer might notice this, then you need to be slightly careful because you can't hide that, despite what I'm about to share with you. So that's just an important point to recognize. Not quite sure why that is. It's just the way LinkedIn is currently set up. But as is always the case with LinkedIn, things are constantly moving, and keeping up to speed can be somewhat of a challenge. So what can you do to protect the fact that you may not want your current employer to find out that you're active in the job market? Well, the first thing you can do is to hide your profile updates. And what this means is if I'm making changes to my LinkedIn profile, I don't necessarily want anyone to know that I'm making those changes. I don't want my connections to have an alert that says Simon's making changes to his profile, because that can sometimes lead people to believe that actually I'm gearing up my profile for a job search strategy. And certainly when I was a recruiter, professional recruiter, what I would do is look for candidates that were making significant changes to their LinkedIn profile, because that did 2 things. Number 1, it gave me a clue as to the candidates I should be talking to. And number 2, it showed me that the organizations that they were working currently for would probably need my help at some point in the future. So it was a good indication as to the types of organizations I should be talking to and building relationships with now. So if you go up here to the me icon, and you go to settings and privacy. So this is hiding your profile updates. What you can then do is click on the privacy tab, and if you look here, sharing profile edits. So these are changes that I make to my profile, changing the summary, adding things, taking things away. You can click in here and you can switch that to no. And here it says, should we let people know when you change your profile, make recommendations, or follow companies? And the answer is no. So following companies is quite important. If you are being proactive in the executive job market, there will be certain organizations that you're keen to know about. These will be target employers you're looking to build a relationship with. So clicking no here means that your current employer won't know that you're following those organizations. So that's the first thing you can do. Now, the next thing you can do is to choose the visibility of your LinkedIn feed posts. So if I go back into LinkedIn, this is one of the annoying things of the new platform for me, these tabs that keep opening along and along and along, and you forget where you are. But anyway, yes, we are where we are. So if you want to post activity on your LinkedIn profile, you have the opportunity to write an article or to share an article, photo, or update. This is generally long form content. That's the published posts. This is short form content. So imagine here I'm going to write, I've got a URL I'm going to share, or I want something to, I've got something to post to my network. I have the option here to share it publicly, to share it to public and Twitter, because I have my Career Codex Twitter account linked, or I can just share it to my connections. Now, of course, if you are sharing content with a view to finding a new position and building a relationship with a prospective employer or even a recruitment company, the chances are you want to keep that as public. You may even want to share through Twitter. And you want to keep it public because there is a probability that your next employer is not somebody you currently know, and you want to have maximum visibility and maximum reach on the platform. So you just need to be slightly careful as to what kind of content, what kind of messaging you're sharing there. Now, sometimes when you start to make more posts on LinkedIn, you can come to the attention of your employer. Particularly if you've not done it before. But the argument back is to say, well, in the modern world, forward-thinking organizations recognize that LinkedIn is a powerful tool, and that in any organization, it's not just the marketing department's responsibility to build business for business development. It's not the business development team's sole responsibility to bring in new business. It's everyone in the organization. And what that means is building a personal brand, which is what LinkedIn is all about. And it also means communicating thought leadership. So the kind of content here that you will be sharing should never be about your need for a new position. Absolutely not. And certainly in the Career Codex methodology that I teach people to help them navigate the job market successfully, it's never about the need for a position. What it's about is helping, engaging. It's about building a personal brand and positioning that personal brand in front of targets, employers, and professional recruiters, and also a special category of individual I call market makers, who are well-connected individuals in a particular profession, industry, sector, or geography. So, here, never communicate your intention to find a position. Instead, communicate content that would resonate with your target employer. And this needs to be niche to niche. It's not a general message to a general audience. It's very targeted. And this starts with knowing where you're headed. This starts with defining what I call your destination, which is a clearly written representation, which is very focused about your next position. Okay, so there is another thing that you can do, third thing, and this is you can hide who you're connecting with. So why would you want to do this? Well, if I'm making lots of new connections, then LinkedIn will alert my network that I'm making these connections, and I may not necessarily want them to do that, particularly if I'm making connections as an executive job seeker with target organizations I'm interested in working with, or with executive recruiters, or with powerful connectors I've already mentioned, market makers in a particular profession, industry, sector, or geography. So I might want to turn off who can see which connections I'm making. And the way that I do that is I go up here, I go into the Me tab again, settings and privacy, and where are we? Let me just get this right. Going into privacy, and where is it? Yeah, who can see your connections here? And what I'm going to do here is change that to only you. Okay, I have mine saved to your connections, but I'm not in the market for looking for a job. So if you set this to only you, then your connections are not going to see who you're connecting to. So that will protect you protect you to a certain extent from your current employer finding out, particularly if you're making lots of new connections. So I'm just going to switch that back, but that's one thing that you can think about doing. The fourth thing you can do is to prevent updates when you join a group. Now, groups are important. Groups are an opportunity to build relationships with people who have a particular interest, work in a particular profession or in a particular industry sector. And certainly as a professional recruiter, I would use groups to identify candidates. I used to view LinkedIn as the big ocean. Trying to find somebody in an ocean is very difficult, but if you imagine that groups are smaller ponds of people with a common profession, industry sector or geography or interest even, then it becomes much easier to target as an employer looking for talent or a recruiter looking for talent. So being in the right groups is important. But imagine if you're in groups that relate to job search, executive job groups or whatever else. I have a group now, for example. It's, where are we? Let me go up here. If I go to my list of groups, I have a group which I've created for my executive edge clients, my one-to-one clients, my online executive edge online clients. Now, my clients would probably not want to notify their networks if they're currently employed that they're in this group. So how do you go about stopping that? How do you go about protecting your profile from communicating which groups you're in and what you're doing in those groups? Well, there's a number of things you can do. First thing is this. If you go into privacy and settings again, or settings and privacy, I should say, and you go into communications, if you go down here to group section, you can click group notifications, choose whether we notify your network when you join a group. So I've said no, don't do that. And the way you change that is you click change here and just set that to no. And that will mean that nobody's going to know if you join a particular group. And that's my phone ringing, so let me just decline that. There we go. This is a live broadcast. Just click that to no, and then people won't be notified if you join a particular group. So the other thing that you can do with regard to groups is you may not want to showcase on your profile which groups you're in. And what you can do to prevent that is, if I go back in here and I go to, where are we, groups, in fact, no, over here. You see it's confusing, this new LinkedIn interface. Edit my public profile. Here we go. And this looks like the old LinkedIn here. You can just unclick groups here and click save. That means your public profile will not show the groups that you're in. I'm going to click that back because I want people to know which groups I'm in. The other thing to say is that there are two types of groups on LinkedIn. There are standard groups and there are unlisted groups. Now, standard groups are groups that people can share. They're visible. Unlisted groups aren't visible, and the only way people know about unlisted groups is if I invite them to join. So if my clients are joining this particular group, what that means is even if that group sits on their profile, the only people that can see that group are people in the group. So if you're joining an unlisted group, you are protected to a certain extent, given the fact that the visibility of that group is only to other people within that group. So there's just a few things that you can be thinking about if you're looking to maximize your visibility, be very proactive on the platform, but also being cognizant of the fact that your current employer, obviously you've not communicated to them, you're active in the executive job market, they may have a perception that you are being more active, and as a result you're potentially on the move. So there's a few things you can do to mitigate that risk. But what I would say is this, and I used to say this to all of my candidates as a professional recruiter, if you are registering with a recruitment company or you are putting your CV or resume out on job boards, there is always a probability that your current employer will find out. For example, on job boards, you've got your CV or resume, that's in the public domain. If your employer is looking at those job boards and they happen to see you as a candidate, there is a risk, they're going to find out that you're active in the market. They may have a question for you. Similarly with recruitment companies, albeit that relationship should be 100% confidential. There have been situations that I've experienced in the past whereby there's one instance I remember. I shortlisted a candidate or a number of candidates for a particular senior position, and it so happened that the client I was shortlisting the candidates with knew somebody who knew one of these candidates and took an informal reference. Now, they shouldn't have done that. They should have waited till the process was over. But you can't stop people doing what they're going to do all of the time. So there is always a risk, and you have to bear that risk in mind. But, with risk, the opposite side of that is reward. And if you are active in the executive job market, LinkedIn is a powerful tool for you to use to build a personal brand, thought leadership, and to get your message out there in front of executive recruiters, in front of target employers, whether they're hiring or not, and in front of powerful connectors I call market makers. So it's important to use the platform and to use the platform to the best of your ability, but obviously being sensible in terms of the kind of content that you're sharing, what you're communicating, and what you're doing on there. So as not to alert your current employer that you're active in the executive job market. Hope that was useful. If you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, you're watching this, then please feel free to do so. My username is Simon Gray ACA. Hit the connection request button, add a note, let me know what you thought of this video and the article which accompanies it, and it will be great to add you to my network. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.